That's why I'm insisting on the issue, on the aspect of discipleship. Let people be schooled. Let our people be schooled on how to use this and use this appropriately, right? So that's because if we don't, as Christians, the people in the world will educate our children. They will educate our colleagues on how to use AI, but they will not educate them on how to use AI to read the Bible, or how to a fast way to find a scripture, a verse, a Bible verse. It will educate them to do something else.
For instance, there are people that you say you want to preach, you have someone on story. ChatGPT, our Sunday sermon is faithfulness. Give me, and ChatGPT will give you scripture. It will give introduction, everything. Give you conclusion. You think you are smart.
We dwell in a captivating cosmos where the human with and artificial insight dance in tandem, both galvanizing the affairs of our health. In this intriguing world, both intelligence, forged of code and forged of the flesh, helps to advance the cause of nature. With that, I welcome you to Faith and Reason right here on Voice of One TV, a program designed to bring you light, to bring you truth, to bring you practical wisdom. And today's episode promises to be intriguing, promises to be interesting, more importantly, promises to be enlightening. So welcome. My name is Samuel Ego, and I will not be doing this alone. I have the honor and the privilege of having with me the boss of life, the presenter of our time. She is a lover of God, a devout follower of the Lord Jesus. She goes by the name AJOSE. Welcome to the studio.
What can I say? Thank you so much. It's always a privilege to be doing this with you. And to you, I say welcome to Faith and Reason. Thank you for doing this with us all the time. And if you're just joining us, welcome. And if you've been here from day one, how far? Good to have you come back. And so technology has changed the way we've lived our life through the years. So we went from analog to digital and now artificial intelligence, or AI as we know it. And there's a saying that the next generation will never know a world without AI. Now the question is it a blessing or a curse? Is the world changing, or is humanity as we know it changing? Are they taking over? Are they taking over our capacity to think or create? Join us as we dive deeper into this conversation. And well, we're not doing this alone. On set with us is a familiar face. You know him. He needs no introduction, but well, I will do the honors of introducing my brother and friend and dear colleague, cinematographer par excellence, troublemaker. No, he's not a troublemaker, but yeah, you know him already. Freeman OT.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always a privilege to be.
Always a pleasure to have you. And for the very first time on Faith and Reason, this one is a sound mind in the sense of the word. If you want to have great conversations that is humorous, definitely call this guy. He looks very serious, but deep down he's an old man in a young man's body. I'll tell you, but you will see what I'm saying. He is a TV broadcast and social media expert and AI enthusiast. Join me as I welcome my dear friend and brother and dear colleague, I will not say the rest, Olawale Akindele.
Thank you so much, for having me. Such a delight to be here.
So good. See, as I'm nice to you now. You will not acknowledge the fact that I'm nice.
You are nice.
Yeah, I'm nice. All right. So our conversation today is going to be on artificial intelligence, and each one of us here have experience or have one-on-one contact with artificial intelligence. But before we jump into the conversation, let me ask, Wale, how are you doing? What's new is happening in your life? Give us gist.
Well, a lot has been happening. Anyways, trying to keep up with things going on social media, because as you said, I'm a social media expert. Try to keeping up with the new trends about reality, most especially about this new development on AI. Interesting thing is, before I got informed about this conversation, I've been personally on my own, right? Trying to do some research on AI. Some things have been popping up.
Yeah.
And then when I got the information that we'll be having this conversation on artificial intelligence. Also, wow, what a perfect time, you know.
I'm in sync with the spirit. Yes. All right, that's so cool. You know, the reason why I felt like, oh, bring Wale on board twice during our TED Talk session, you've spoken about AI and you spoke about it very, very intelligently, and something that at the end of the day, everybody wants to look forward to and go and read and research. So it's so good that you're here, and I know that we'll definitely have a great time. Welcome again. Freeman, what's happening on your end? The way you took a deep breath.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm fine. I've been trying to perfect my skill at multitasking because I used to know myself as someone who is good with multitasking. Wow. But then, in the recent times, responsibilities have been increasing, and it has not stopped me from doing what I used to do because I have to keep doing what I used to do.
Yeah.
Then more responsibilities have been added. You know, both at work and at home. You know, all of that. So I've been really trying to keep up with all that comes. And well, the deep breath was because I'm still healing. I'm healing from a traumatizing experience. Not experience now. Information we got about a very good person who we know to be a representative of Christianity, you know, and all of that. The person of Charlie Kirk, I really got uptight, and I've been really feeling sad since I got the news about his demise, and it's been a really sad experience. It has impacted and affected me very terribly, but wish him all the best, his family all the best rather, and we know that heaven has gained.
Right. I mean, it's really heartbreaking when I also got in contact with the news, and it's a whole lot to find out that he's a really young person and to die tragically like that. It's really sad, but like you said, heaven's gain, and to God be the glory. And talking about the whole multitasking thing, today I was literally feeling a weight. Like, it feels like they did not explain this at all well, but it's just like a stretch. There's this stretch that when you know that when they say the reward for good work is more work. And if you're good at what you're doing, the truth is demand will increase. And the truth is, I realize that your value is actually increasing with every excellent work that you get to put out. And as much as it's overwhelming, like today, I felt really overwhelmed. I felt really overwhelmed. I was asking myself, are you sure you'll not drop some things and carry on with some things? But the truth is, I just can't drop any. But yeah, thank God for God, thank God for grace, and thank God for you. You are really an inspiration. Thank God for colleagues like you also. And Sam.
Yeah. Speaking about multitasking, I feel it's just beyond. We should look at it beyond the level of we having to put on a lot of weight on ourselves. I think it's an ability for us to build capacity. I remember reading the story of David. I believe if David had not mastered how to use the stone and the sling, how to sing the psalms, how to lead the sheep, it wouldn't have been a good king. He mastered all these tools in the season of training and made him a better king in the days of his expecting. So, just from my hand, I've been doing a lot of engagement. I was listening to one message I preached somewhere recently, and I was blessed listening to myself.
Wow,
I feel the labors that we're putting in behind the scene is gradually producing fruit, and wisdom is justified by our children.
I absolutely agree. So lately I've been saddled with a lot of responsibilities in other places, and I remember sharing on my WhatsApp status recently how that when I was younger I really wanted to be in leadership positions, but not necessarily because I felt like I could lead, but I just wanted some form of respect, approval. For a person who grew up with a low self-esteem, I felt like I needed something that would make me look accepted or valued. So as time went by, all those things did not happen. I tried in primary school, it didn't work. I tried in secondary school, it didn't work. And then I just allowed it be. I just felt like leadership was not for me, and I was okay with following and serving and being the best at every single task I'm given, and I was fine with that. Fast forward to the recent years. Father Lord. It feels like leadership is looking for me every single in every single sphere, everywhere I go. Like, I don't literally want it. And there was something that we were talking offset earlier, and then you were talking about how you were asked to do a prayer session, and you just want to go there and pray. That's my position. And then one of our colleagues was now saying that you don't know that it's the people that don't want that end up, because it's them that actually have the heart for it, because they know that in themselves they can't do it, they don't have the capacity for it. I think that's where I'm at, that God is stretching me, and there's beauty in all of that, but it's stress. I cannot explain, but I just want to thank God for everything and everyone. Like, for everyone seated here, I'm deeply inspired by each one of you in some way, and I'm glad we are doing this together. So welcome again. Well, the conversation for today is going to be on artificial intelligence. Is it a blessing or a curse? Well, we'll find out. And just to add, we have a very interesting episode, as we'll be having more people join us later. They'll be introduced as we go along, but stay with us. Let's take this quick break. We'll be right back. Glad to have you back. This is Faith and Reason on Voice of One TV. And now, to join the conversation, do well to follow us on all our social media platforms at Voice of One TV on Instagram, Facebook, X, and everywhere else. Okay, so today we'll be talking about artificial intelligence. We'll be talking about it from different angles. We'll weigh its impact, the blessings of it, the dangers of it, and how we can navigate it all as people of faith. And before we dive into the deeper conversation and even introduce more guests that will be joining us, yes, we have more people joining us, let's start with definition of terms. And I will throw this first to Freeman. What is artificial intelligence? Because when we talk artificial intelligence, the first thing that comes to most people's mind is ChatGPT. But so let's have like a more robust definition. What is artificial intelligence?
Okay. So that everyone who is listening to me in every context can understand me, I'll try to be plain as much as I can.
Okay.
So artificial intelligence is actually a field of computer science that deals with the simulation of algorithms and a chunk degree of data in order to make predictions or solutions or give answers to prompts. So that's basically how we can relate with it. Okay. It's a field of computer science. One. And secondly, it makes use of, it simulates a chunk of information and algorithms to predict, using patterns to predict, to make predictions, and also to provide answers to possible prompts and cues. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's good. So there's the concern that AI, well, first of all, there's the joy that it comes with, that it has actually come to make things easy for, when we started off with the analog age, then when digital made a lot of things easy. Now there's artificial intelligence, or AI, I'll be referring to it as AI, that makes things a lot more easy for people that get to use and navigate through it. Now there's the concern that it's actually very comfortable, but we have a fear that it will make people a lot more lazy or complacent about their business. So Wale, over to you. Do you think that AI can be referred to as a blessing in the sense that it has come to make things easy? Or is it a curse that now at the end of the day we may have the capacity not to use our brains anymore to create or think at all?
Okay, thank you, ADEOGUN. Now, before I say categorically whether it's a blessing or a curse, I want to say the first thing that makes artificial intelligence different or unique is how artificial intelligence works, right? So to break it down, there are components of artificial intelligence. There's something called machine learning,
okay,
and then there's something called deep learning, right? So the idea behind artificial intelligence, or AI, is to come close to how human being brain works. That's why AI is different from normal scientific calculator, normal punching calculator, because machine learning, like Freeman said, is they feed AI with a lot of data. That's why it costs millions of dollars. Different data. And then after that, then the deep learning. The deep learning is about neurons, how the human brain works, how the human brain processes things. So the AI then process things based on the information that it has. So the functionality of an AI is dependent on the amount of data that is fed into it. Right. So, and because of that, that's why AI is very dynamic, in the sense that it's like a little child. AI can predict things on its own. And so the issue of it being a blessing and it being a curse, I think it's difficult to say that it's a blessing, it's a curse. It can be both. It's like a two-edged sword, right? It depends on who wields it, right? On their benefits of artificial intelligence in our day, right? All of us, we have, to an extent, we use artificial intelligence. It's helping disabled people.
Yeah.
Right? People with difficult, people we have proselyte legs, people that have disability. We have people that, because of their disability, it's helping them to learn better in terms of education. We have in the medical space how that's helping people better in the health space, right? We even have our day-to-day use. I'm a social media person. We use AI, ChatGPT, stuff like that helps for fast and easier deliverable of work. However, there are some dark side to, or some concerns to AI, right? And one, I categorize it to one is human being. Behind every tool, the person building it determines a lot about it. So they can be these things. They can be people that use it to effect to put. Okay, let me give an example. These days it's difficult for you to tell what is real from what is fake.
Right.
There was a video that went viral online about a lady that was eaten by dolphin. I don't know if anyone came across that video. There was a lady that dolphin hurt the lady, and it was on TikTok. It was everywhere. Do you know that it was AI that generated that video?
Because dolphins are
like
cute.
So these days now, people can easily generate a video of you with your audio. Imagine now with your reputation, someone just generates a video of you, and let's say you are a very known person, generate a video, and the person says, okay, this particular foreign currency, trade into it, right? Buy it. That is this what's because of your reputation. People might just jump into it. Meanwhile, that is AI, AI generated. So we have that fear and concern of people using it to their own evil and all of that. And then there is the fear of AI becoming super smart. And I like to say that this concern is not by just by illiterate. It's not based on literacy. They are experts. There's this guy, this Geoffrey guy that is called Godfather of AI. He worked 20 years with Google before he resigned, and he's everywhere now.
And I hear it's 40 years his life's work is developing AI.
Yes, he resigned from Google. He spent his entire life on AI, but now he's resigning, giving people awareness about the concerns. So the concerns about AI becoming, self-aware and smarter than people, which is super AI, it's not like a cliche or something that
should be discarded.
Right? I think it's good that we know the good side and then the potential evil that AI can bring to the table.
So I would like to ask, okay, how do we as people of faith, how do we relate, how do we connect? Let me show that to Freeman. How do we relate, how do we connect with this artificial intelligence without losing our identity?
Firstly, I want to say that's one of the things we are doing now. Awareness. We're bringing enlightenment. We are teaching people that, or we are showing people or communicating with folks that yes, this tool is a good tool. It should not be discarded. It should not be trashed. However, there are pros and there are cons, and then there are advantages to it. So I would say that proper discipline on an individual level, discipline is very pivotal. All right. And this is discipline and discipleship. Now, this is discipleship. When you begin to teach people how these tools can be used and how they can be used appropriately and how not to be deployed for the wrong reason, right? Then discipleship is happening, right? Very precisely, these tools, they take commands from you. And what they predict or what they give you is what you command them. So that's why I'm insisting on the issue, on the aspect of discipleship. Let people be schooled. Let our people be schooled on how to use this and use this appropriately, right? So that's because if we don't, as Christians, the people in the world will educate our children. They will educate our colleagues on how to use AI, but they will not educate them on how to use AI to read the Bible, or how to a fast way to find a scripture, a verse, a Bible verse. It will educate them to do something else that will be to the negative. Yeah, that is bad, or that is wrong in itself. So if we begin to teach or disciple or enlighten people as to the best ways to explore the world of artificial intelligence, and how that we can deploy this very tool for very good purposes, even in church, right? I'm very sure, as a social media expert that Wale is, we have had conversations, and I know to what extent he has used many AI tools to further the cause of the gospel, because he manages a Christian platform. I have used AI tools to create numerous videos for voiceovers, and numerous videos for teenagers, all around scriptures and all. Now, this is the Christian context, but it can also be deployed. If you have this knowledge, you can provide this value for secular organization. And when you're providing this value for secular organization, it makes you stand out excellent and exceptional in that same sphere of influence. You don't need to talk about scriptures or anything necessarily. Your lifestyle, all of that is already evangelism in itself. So if you have value in that regard, you have knowledge, you have value in that regard in terms of artificial intelligence, you become someone that cannot be done without. Yeah, you become literally indispensable. If that's the word to use in some context. Then you now bring your own faith, your own belief. You bring it to that context. The influence is already happening. So, but as you well said, as I said, the first thing is discipline, and then proper enlightenment. How that folks should deploy this for the right reasons, and how to deploy it for the right reasons, so the wrong persons do not educate them to deploy it for the wrong reasons.
If I may comment on that, right? Yeah. There was a research conducted by MIS. What they did was they took about 52 students and they asked them to write essays. So a portion of them, they asked them to use ChatGPT to write essay, and then another portion, I think they asked them to use Google, and another portion write it offhand. Yeah. So within a span of weeks after the research, they collected the data, they collected the students. What they noticed was that the students who wrote from their brain remembered what they wrote. Wow. And then they used like 60-something% more of their brain. The ones who use ChatGPT to generate, they barely remembered what they wrote. And then now a brain expert said the concern of that is that you are using less of your brain, and then the older you grow, you higher the tendency of having dementia. Yeah. Right? So because your brain is no longer in use, so you have the tendency of having dementia. So what he said is, if you want to use this AI, for instance, ChatGPT, the group people just, even Christian, for instance, there are people that you say you want to preach, you have someone on story. ChatGPT, our Sunday sermon is faithfulness. Give me, and ChatGPT will give you scripture. It will give introduction, everything. Give it conclusion. You think you are smart. A lot of people these days, you see, for instance, if you check between the time ChatGPT boomed and now, if you see people's social media with their word, you see the way people write, the way people post, there's a shift. And then these people are now getting the
really smart.
But to most of these people, to their detriment, they are not engaging. There's a way to write it, there's a way to use it. Like he said, if you want to write something, write a draft by yourself, right? And then ask the AI either to improve it or to refine it. But once you just give it, generate so for me, you have results. It's to your own detriment.
I agree. And my concern now is, are we as humans growing extinct? But before we dive into that, we have people joining us all the way from the United States and the United Kingdom. First is Olagbaju Oluwajoba, all the way from the United States of America. He's a civil engineer and a building science graduate, exploring how artificial intelligence can be integrated with existing design and construction software and workflow. Join me as I welcome Joba. Joba, say hello to our viewer.
Hi everyone. Good afternoon. I must say it's a pleasure to be here. I'm excited to be here. I've been learning a lot since I joined. I'm not just there to contribute. I'm also here to learn from this conversation.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us. And joining us also another AI enthusiast, Ogenero Estella Godwin. She's also an AI enthusiast and was the best graduating student from the Department of Digital Marketing Management from the University of Staffordshire and currently lives in the UK. Ogenero, welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here, and I'm also learning a lot from the ongoing discussion. And I look forward to contributing.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us. Wale made mention of something. He said how that the human brain has the capacity for those. He cited a survey and how that there were some students who did better using their brains and others using AI. And now the concern is looking at it from a more professional angle, Jova. Do you think human beings are beginning to grow extinct to subjecting themselves to chatbots and AI softwares to the point of not having to use their brains anymore? Do you think it's something that we should be concerned with?
Yes, so I think for the most part, is a little bit, it's a subjective question because it depends on whoever is using this technology, right? So I would say the best way to, it seems like that should be a concern because we've been seeing a lot of that happening. So right now, most students, if I, for example, if I get an assignment from school, it's expected for me to do that on my own, right? But with the advent of AI and the likes, I could just easily, in order to save some time, I could just easily upload the assignment on one of the large language models, and it's going to give me very accurate answers to those assignments. So the temptations are there for humans to begin to give the normal sense of reasoning and applying themselves to these things to begin to just use AI. Meanwhile, that's not how this technology was designed to be used. It was designed to actually aid the foundational knowledge we have. So if I have an assignment, for instance, it's expected of me to come up with something, at least have a framework of what I'm going to do, and then upload this to whatever large language models I use. And then it should help me refine that. But just like you said, I think it would be a concern if this if it's not called on time. I think it would be a concern.
Yeah. Okay. So over to you, Ogenero. There's a fear, especially I'm speaking from an angle of faith now. And I do believe that you've had to use a lot of AI to help your work as a digital marketer. Now there's a concern that AI could be demonic based on everything, most of the things we've gotten to see. And there's some sort of scare. Do you think that, because, and then you find out that a lot of Christians might want to not use the AI tools because to make life easy for themselves, because there's a concern that I might become too drawn or overwhelmed with the spiritual angle of it, that I will be possessed some sort.
Okay. Thank you for that question. From my point of view, I don't think AI is demonic. Artificial intelligence is not demonic. And I'm coming from the aspect of the world is always changing. So in the Stone Age, if when development started happening, people were hesitant to receive that development. And if it had been quashed, then we wouldn't be where we are today. So I remember a time when I think the ATM really came out, and we were able to withdraw cash instead of standing on the line at the bank or the queue. And I heard things like the ATM card is demonic, 666, that sort of thing. So while the church, or while religions were busy debating, is it demonic, it's not demonic, and people were supposedly receiving visions about how it's demonic, how it's the Antichrist, there were people that were actually thinking of how to upgrade that particular technology, how to bring in financial technology, that's fintech, and that's when we had things like piggyvest. There were things like, okay, there were concerns that, okay, when you have your money so easily, you can easily spend it, you don't have the discipline to manage your money, things like that. And then piggyvest came out, and then there's the safe lock option on piggyvest, where you can save your money and you don't touch it. So that was the solution. So AI is not demonic, if you ask me. It's not. It can also be something that God actually gave us, because I don't know why we have to look at it from the aspect of, if something comes out, they're saying it's from the devil. We give too much power to the devil. The children of God are also intelligent.
Right.
When a new technology comes out, it's not from the devil. The Holy Spirit can also inspire you, can inspire anyone to invent these things.
Yeah.
So instead of thinking it's demonic, let's try to think of the solution. In the past, we had security issues like physical security, where someone can just break into your house. But now we have AI, we live in a digital world. So we should be thinking of cyber security. So there's cyber security now. So if you have concerns about AI, you are concerned about the way it's being used. Currently, there are people that have come together to look for how to regulate it. So to be a part of that discussion, let's insert ourselves into that circle. Let's try to look for solutions to the problems that AI is currently causing, or the potential problem it will cause in the future. And let's be part of the solution. Let's invent something that could like solve it, so that when the time comes, the Christian community has the solution. I believe that's how it should be. Instead of us being hesitant, and at the end we play catch up. We try to catch up with new technology.
Wow, awesome. So to you, Joba, I wanted to ask. Stephen Hawking said something very interesting. He said the development of full artificial intelligence will mean the end of the human race. That's Stephen Hawking. So I want to ask, how do we balance AI usage and accurate Christian existence? How do we achieve that? Of course, he told us that we are in a digital age, we are in a world living with all kinds of technological advancement. How do we ensure that there is a balance between the usage of artificial intelligence and also accurate Christian living?
You mean the right way, as in ethically?
Yes, you can say that way too.
Okay, so just like I said at first, this technology was designed to actually aid us to be able to perform tasks very fast, so we can focus. We can have more time to focus on other things that matters more to us, right? So I think the best way to balance this would be to. There are so many uses going on now with this AI stuff. People do all manner of things with it. So the best way to balance that, especially speaking from the kingdom standpoint, the Christian standpoint, would be to have boundaries, to not, just swallow everything into your hook, line, and sinker, and then to not take your values from AI. So I've seen examples of people, for example, someone suffers an outbreak and going to meet AI, making AI your
solution.
So stuff like that, I feel like there should be a boundary to stuff like that. You should not take your values from AI. I mean, it was designed by somebody, right? And the way it learns is from every prompt you use it takes the data you are giving it, learns from that data, and so it can perform better the next time. So there are so many jumps out there. You have to be careful to, just be sure that you're not picking your values from it. Like I said, there's a boundary to the number of the things you should ask it to do for you. I feel, from my standpoint, I feel like it should be more effective and efficient in task when it comes to activity-driven stuff, not personal stuff like making it your companion and stuff. I've seen people having chat with it. Can you be my girlfriend? It could just be curious with about what this technology can do, and they want to explore as much as possible. Those kind of questions, can you be my girlfriend today? Can I just suffered and happy, what do you think I should reply my fiancée? She did this to me. Those kind of things, I mean, there should be, just create that boundary line, I would say.
So, all right, thank you so much, Joba. So, again, over to you now. Joba just made mention of something very salient, something very important, which is creating boundaries. What other tactics, as a professional, someone who explores the usage of AI, what other tactics or techniques can we engage to ensure that we don't go overboard?
Another tactic I would advise is accountability. So there's the fear that we've established of we getting sucked into the whole thing. So AI becomes everything to us. We also have to take advantage of the fact that we are surrounded by other human beings. So, for example, I'm talking to you right now. We are discussing about AI, how we can avoid being sucked in. Discussing things like this helps us to hold ourselves accountable. So, if I'm using AI in the future, if I'm going to use it right now, I'll say, okay, I just had this discussion with these people. It's a major discussion. It's everywhere. When I discuss with my friends, or when I send a text to someone, there's that discussion there. So, for example, my junior one, she just graduated from the university. I was helping her out with her project work, so she was sending it to me for vetting and all of that. When I glanced at it, I knew it was AI because I already so I knew that most part of it was AI. I was able to fish it out, and I was able to tell her this is the way to go about it when you want to do research. If I can identify it, the lecturer can identify it too. And then I taught her how to do good old undergraduate research. So it's about educating everyone. It's just part of the conversation, and when you have that conversation, that human touch, I think it prevents us from being sucked in.
Going overboard.
So accountability. When the discussion comes up, you listen to what others have to say, and then you also enlighten others about it.
Yeah, and that's really good. Yeah, that's so good. There's something that we've been looking more on the concerns, but we want to also look at the benefits that come with using AI. So, however, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk about that a lot more. Stay with us. Welcome back. I'm so glad that you're still with us. The conversation has been on artificial intelligence. Is it a blessing or a curse? And we've been talking to Ogenero, Joba, Freeman, and Wally, of course, my co-host Sam. And we've been raising concerns. We've been discussing basically the concerns around AI and how to navigate it through without any, without making it look overwhelming for each of us, or as how to go about our day-to-day lives. However, right now we want to look at the benefits, but something hit me recently, and there's a concern that there's a possibility that AI is taking over to the point that very soon a lot of people will become jobless. And so, Joba, you are a civil engineer, and I do know that there's a lot of technical work that comes with your job. Do you think that with the invent of AI and with the way it's being refined every single day as we go, do you think there's a possibility that very, very soon humans will be out of business or jobs?
Honestly speaking, I don't think we are close to that time yet, to be honest, because somebody said something, the CEO of one of these top firms, he said AI is not going to take people's job, but the people who use AI are the ones who are going to take people's job eventually. So
Right.
that's the meaning of that is that those who do not pay attention to AI right now, a time will come where you are going to be valueless in the market out there, wherever sphere you are, be it medicine, be it whatever sphere you are. Every sphere right now, every discipline, every field are venturing into, exploring how AI can help in whatever way. So to be honest, I don't think we are close to that time yet.
Okay.
So how have you deployed it in the practicalities of, how have you deployed it in your sphere of
Okay,
influence?
so to be more practical, my discipline deals with using softwares, right? Using softwares to make designs. I make designs, building designs, and stuff like that. So in my field, I've been able to. One thing people have suffered before now is being able to figure out how to perform certain tasks within that software, because it's quite a very hard software for people to get around. So one way I've deployed that in my field was to create a chatbot inside this software, right? So what the chatbot does is, if a task was supposed to take 2 hours for somebody to do, right, using human effort, you can just prompt the chatbot, I'm about to do this, and within 3 minutes. So just imagine something that was supposed to take 2 hours, you could do that within 3 minutes. It saves you so much time, and in my discipline, time is money. I think that applies to every other discipline too. So if you can save, 2 hours of your time, instead of spending 2 hours on the task, you could spend 3 minutes doing that same task. I mean, every top executive, every CEO out there will definitely venture into something like that because it saves them money. So in my field, yeah, that's one practical example. However, I'm still exploring other possibilities, and it's an endless pool. Like you just keep bringing more of what this thing can actually has the capability to do. So yeah.
Wow.
Oh, great.
So how about you, Ogenero? How have you been able to explore to the fullest AI, artificial intelligence, in your field of engagement?
As a global marketing manager in a global company,
Amazing.
we have branches across the world in Spain, Brazil, North Macedonia, Serbia, Germany, UK, and all of that. So we have different people speaking different languages. While we mostly speak English, but to be exceptional and to make communication easy, I send out my emails using their local dialect.
Wow.
So if I'm to send an email to someone in Spain, for example, I would use AI to translate it from English to Spanish.
Amazing.
Yes, and it gives that person a feeling of personalization. Like, okay, this person is actually considering my time and all of that. So yes, even though AI is perceived to like remove the human touch, the human experience, sometimes it actually brings it enhances that human experience. So that's an example. And for social media management, I also use it. So I use Gemini and ChatGPT once in a while to enhance my social media calendar. So that's another example, and it saves time. That's the thing. It actually saves a lot of time. So in 2021, I was doing this manually from the scratch, but now it takes a day to just come up with a comprehensive calendar that takes into consideration competitor analysis, what my competitors are doing, and all of that. So it really actually it makes the work better
And easier.
and it makes it faster.
Amazing. That's really good. I'm really so glad that you all have been able to share based on experience how beneficial it is for you and how every other person can navigate through it. And I just want to say thank you, Jova and Ogenero. I wish we had more time to talk about this, but we're almost out of time. And I do hope that we'll have more conversations on this very soon. So thank you so much for joining us. And we hope that, yes, we'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much, guys. So now, bringing it back home, for everyone who may be afraid of using as per Christians, how do you think that we Christians now can apply it to our daily life, whether it's devotional? You know, you made mention of something of how somebody will go and search the sermon scriptures and everything, but in as much as, like Ogenero said, that it can help enhance the capacity to work and bring out excellent work, but how can you use it without giving all your power to it, but having it as an enhancing tool?
More like a support system.
Yes. How do you think we Christians can navigate that in our prayer life or Christian work?
Thank you. Like you said, it's AI is supposed to make life easier, to make things that you do daily easier, right? Well, it becomes a problem when you devote all your attention to it. When AI becomes something infallible, it says that you just believe that AI cannot be wrong, AI cannot make mistake, and a lot of people have that misconception that anything that they give AI is accurate, right? AI, but exactly, AI make mistake, AI hallucinates. What AI does not really know. AI predicts. That's how it works. It predicts what the next thing would be, right? So AI can be wrong, right? I was having a conversation with someone and we were talking about the case of a young man that committed suicide, right? And because he was chatting with ChatGPT, even ChatGPT was telling ChatGPT he was suicidal and all of that. And what ChatGPT told him was suggesting to him the best time, to commit suicide. ChatGPT even generated the suicide note for him.
But the truth is, ChatGPT would not give him that if he did not prompt.
So the idea is that at the end of the day, that's why I say this entity or whatever it is, this AI is not human being, is not inherent, it's not all-knowing, it's not, and you must know that the ethic is dependent on the data they gave it. So ChatGPT is not as if it is knowing, it is all-knowing, it can know. The limitation of its knowledge as its knowledge has limitation. So you must as a user of this AI, you must have knowledge. And one of the problems with AI, ChatGPT or AI is that before a technology is made public, there's usually a lot of testing. Yeah. For instance, before a vehicle comes out, there's usually a lot of, but with ChatGPT, for instance, that was not the case. Everything was just launched, boom, and then there has never been any form of technology that is generally used like ChatGPT. Most people do not know how to use it. People just, and these days we have children with their gadgets, and then recently Grok's Annie, Elon Musk Annie, that's a very sexual AI, right? And these days everyone has a pad. Every child. So for instance, imagine a 14-year-old or a 12-year-old or a 10-year-old getting in contact with Annie's Grok Annie and then exploring. So for Christian, one, I think like our online guest pointed out, there must be a form of education. And you must know that AI can be wrong. AI is not inherent, it's not Bible, it's not the scripture, it's not God. The word is not infallible, right? So with that knowledge, then you must go with that knowledge. And secondly, you must know that it is supposed to be to refine what you do. All right. So let's say, for instance, I want to do a research on something. Let's say even when you use it for Bible study. Let's say I'm using it for Bible study, and then let's say I want to do a doctrine of Trinity. AI. How do I explain Trinity to a layman? How do you explain Trinity to a layman? The doctrine of Trinity, where does it originate from? Like, okay, and then it gives you, and then you have an idea of what to learn, and then you go to your scripture, and then but when you just carry it, AI, give me, do practice, can just carry that kind of thing, and went to write on it powerfully. Exactly. So
I think I like how you put it, how that there's need for an education of it. So Freeman, I know of regulatory systems and bodies that help regulate the use of AI in other places, nations. But I don't know if that is in our own context. However, how do you think we can, Wale already mentioned education, but how do you think we can regulate the use of AI to the point that it doesn't become something that stifles our normal everyday reasoning?
All right. So, actually, Ogenero pointed to that, how that regulatory bodies are evolving and research is ongoing.
Yeah.
So actually, we are still trying to figure out the best ways because of the peculiarity of the niche. There are many chatbots out there. There are many platforms out there.
And new ones are coming
by the day. So, Christians, we should begin to also see how we can do our own bit in researching as to how we can regulate the usage of these platforms. So I think it's still something in progress, and I think it's an assignment for everyone who is interested in this field to begin to start researching the best ways we can approach the usage of these platforms and how we can regulate it. So Christians, this would be a very good idea, like Ogenera rightly said. It would be a very good thing. It's a Christian who came up with the best idea in the entire world,
right?
As to how we can regulate the usage of AI. The entire world system will submit to it because they will admit it to be the best option amongst all the pool of options they would have.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, whether we like it or not, just like Wiley alluded to, AI is here to stay.
Yeah.
Say something like that. Yeah, AI is here to stay, and I think one of the best approach we can adopt is to explore as much as we can the positive side. Explore as much as we can. So we have to, as Christians, explore the positive side so extensively to a point where when we present it to people, they are not seeing the negative.
Right.
All they are seeing is the positive.
It's a positive.
You know, sometimes some of these atheists, they think that religion is an affront to science. They think that if you're a religious person, you can't do science. But evidence has shown that that's not the case. For instance, the advent of modern science is traced back to Christians. The people that started modern science, they were Christians. When we have this like of Chadokins, all of these Samaritans, these new guys, scientists, but modern science were Christians. People that Newton, all of those guys, they were Christians. So the same thing with this AI, right? We can begin to have Christians that can come up with AI. For instance, imagine having an AI that can, bring up all the, we have about 20,000 manuscripts that can show you, can make, for instance, if we don't talk about manuscripts, most of us will not understand because that is not our field. But imagine we have AI that can make, talk about different manuscripts, make it simple for us, tell us why we have ESV version, why we have amplified version, the difference between, then make it simple, such thing that we can even be using, in children's Bible school, Bible study.
Brings me to the point or the thought that AI in the hands of a good person is good AI, and AI in the hands of the wrong person is a bad AI, because it's just like money and just like everything that pertains to life. There's a good side of it and there's a bad side of it. It's just for you to know how to call yourself to order, know how to manage it. I wish we had more time to talk about this because there's so much that we have to talk about, but we'll definitely have another time. And to my viewer, thank you so much for joining us today. Today has been a great one, and I do believe that you had a great time. So do well to follow us on all our social media platforms. Of course, not just to follow, but to hear from you, want to talk to you, want to hear your comments, want to get your contribution on this particular topic. Let's hear what your experiences and what you've learned so far from us and from every other source. So thank you so much for joining us. I just want to say a big thank you to Freeman and Wale for joining us right here on site, and to Ogenero and Joba who joined us. Thank you so much. To my co-host Sam, always a pleasure. And my name is Ehigoche Agi. See you next time. Bye.